Hey everyone, Steve Eunice here from supermanhomepage.com, giving my reaction to the trailer for the upcoming Superman movie being released July 11th, 2025. Now, it was released 12 p.m. Eastern Time on May 14th, 2025 for the US, but for here in Australia, in Sydney, where I live, it was 2 a.m. on Thursday morning. So I didn't set an alarm, but I happened to wake up just automatically at 8 minutes past 2 and grabbed my phone and watched the trailer on mute because my wife's sleeping next to me and I didn't want to wake her, and it was interesting to watch it. The subtitles, the captions were on, so that was helpful, but it was interesting to watch the visuals without the audio, without the music, without hearing what they were actually saying, what their voices were like, sound effects and all that kind of stuff. And then later on, when I woke up in a reasonable hour, I finally sat down and watched the trailer in full with audio, sound on, everything like that. And I'm going to go through it and just kind of give some thoughts. It's also interesting now that I've seen some of the comments that people have made online to kind of touch on some of those. But we'll be doing a full analysis of the trailer on Superman Homepage Live, which will be on Monday, 7:30 p.m. Pacific Time. So make sure you catch that when Michael, Mark and I sit down to discuss the trailer in depth. But let's have a look at it right now. And again, I won't be doing any audio here from the trailer because of copyright reasons, and as it is, it'll be kind of stop-start just to discuss certain things. But I do want to obviously make mention of the fact that the score, the music is phenomenal. Love the fact of obviously that they're going back to use the John Williams theme in a new and different way. But the audio in this was fantastic, and just loved hearing the characters talking, the actors talking in their roles. David Corenswet has a great voice for both Clark Kent and Superman. And obviously Rachel Brosnahan's dialogue was pretty snappy too. And then you've got Nicholas Hoult playing Lex Luthor, and obviously he's British, but hearing his American accent was quite cool, and Lex comes off as quite menacing. So yeah, going to go through the bits by bit, the trailer. So let's bring that in now. So, and I'll be pausing this as I said. So we've got the start, we've got Metropolis there at night, we've got Lois and Clark having a chat. She obviously knows that he's Superman at this point in the movie, in this story, and so he is agreeing to allowing Lois to interview him as Superman, which is an interesting take on what they're doing here, where they're at in their relationship. So she sets record on her little audio recorder there and starts asking him about obviously something that happened where he as Superman went into another country and stopped a war, and the backlash that seems to have garnered from the American people and just people in general. Obviously the Pentagon is not happy with the fact that he went in, and Lois says seemingly representing the USA, but he's saying, I'm not representing anybody but myself. Now, this is a story element that we've heard of in the comic books. It's been something that has been touched on before, so it's really interesting to see it obviously playing out here in this version of the story in this movie. And so we see him there obviously in battle, and then we see him being arrested by Rick Flag, someone we believe is the Ultraman, a version of Ultraman, and obviously the engineer there. And Superman is being brought in obviously for questioning or for crimes of war. We don't know exactly what the charges are here, but he's obviously allowing himself to be arrested to go in for questioning, and he's getting frustrated at Lois's line of questioning over this. We see Lex Luthor looking on. We're not sure which part of the story this is, but he's obviously enjoying seeing Superman being taken down or whatever's happening in front of him there. But yeah, I heard a few people here. You can see Clark getting really frustrated at Lois's line of questioning, and he was like, you know, I was acting on my own behalf, and I've heard people saying Superman shouldn't get flustered or lose his cool like that. Since when? Superman in the comic books loses his cool all the time. He gets frustrated, he gets annoyed, he gets angry, he gets emotional. We've seen it in other versions of the movie, other movies of Superman. It makes him relatable. He's not a robot. He's not emotionless. And we don't know at which point. He's obviously early on in his career here. So he's not the weathered, you know, Man of Steel that is maybe someone who's, you know, more experienced down the line. But even so, what makes Superman getting emotional wrong? I mean, he was a boy that was brought up in Smallville in Kansas. He is, for all intents and purposes, human like us. He has frustrations, he has emotions, he gets angry. Just because he has these powers doesn't mean he's impartial to being able to get frustrated. Plus, he's talking with somebody he trusts here. He's obviously in a relationship with Lois, and she's doing the right thing. She's questioning him as a reporter and trying to get into the nitty-gritty of the story. But I think it's normal for him to get frustrated at that line of questioning, because he's obviously feeling quite vulnerable at the fact that all these people are against him or seem to be against the actions that he took. So yeah, I think it's fine. So moving along, we see this destruction of these buildings. It's obviously the fight with the kaiju, which we see, and we see Superman again, that great action shot of Superman saving this little girl from these bollards that seem to, or tanks or whatever they are, that seem to have been exploded. Interestingly, if you look back at the original teaser, this shot, the background is different. The buildings, the cars are different in the background. So obviously there's been some additional CG done to enhance or upgrade this scene, and some of the other scenes that were obviously in the teaser beforehand as well. So then we see this hammer of, what's the name of the country? Baravia, I think it is. And I'm not sure who's inside this mech suit. Is it Lex? Is it one of his henchmen? Is it somebody that he's created? We're not sure, Baravia, where this country is, or what this person's beef is with Superman, but it's obviously part of the war, perhaps, where Superman went in and stopped that war, and maybe this is some backlash from that. So yeah, there's Superman falling to the ground, massive divot that he's created in the hole there, in the ground there, and nice to see this man coming in to help Superman, and it's great to see the impact that the actions of this movie have on the people of Metropolis and the people around. So yeah, I think this is really cool that this guy comes in and helps Superman out of this hole. And then there is Superman, battle damaged suit, still obviously in that fight with the hammer, and says, "Eyes up here, buddy," and then flies up into the sky to obviously take him away from the danger of people in that building. So there's the Fortress of Solitude emerging, and we see the engineer and her powers here being able to, you know, make her hands into these whirling blades, and we see Crypto there, obviously in the Fortress of Solitude. It seems that Lex and the engineer have invaded the fortress, and this seems to be a staple for Lex Luthor. He's done it nearly in every version of live-action film that we've seen, whether it was in Superman 2, where he and Miss Tessmacher go into the Fortress of Solitude, find that, headed north, following those alpha waves. Superman Returns, he obviously goes into the Fortress of Solitude and steals the crystals with his henchmen, and yeah, does, you know, creates havoc with those and the kryptonite. And then in the version of what was the Fortress of Solitude in Batman v Superman, where Lex goes into the spaceship and creates Doomsday using the Kryptonian technology there. So it seems to be a staple for Lex to be able to want to invade Superman's private space and find his technology or what have you. So here we have the engineer destroying the robots, and Crypto fighting against her, invading the fortress and destroying the robots. And I think later on, or in that teaser, we saw Superman obviously coming back later on to find that Kelex, or the robot number 4, was destroyed, and was very emotional about it. Here we see Superman captured in this box and breaking out of it. There's Superman coming in to save one of the residents of Metropolis from getting stomped on by the kaiju, and then we see this scene. And again, we're not sure what this thing is outside, whether it's Green Lantern fighting off something, but there's still a bit of a mystery, which is great because you don't want the trailer to be revealing everything about the film, but just kind of giving you enough of the sense of the action. There's little Clark being hugged by his dad, and there is Jonathan Kent having a chat to Clark, about, you are who your actions are. Your actions are who you are, and you're defined by your actions. And obviously that hits home for Clark, and he's very emotional about the advice he's getting from his father, adopted father. Here we have Mr. Terrific emerging from the sphere, and obviously going to town on those folks who I think it was maybe Lex Corp's or Lex Luthor's henchmen or soldiers. And then we have Lex there smiling at all the different technology he's found in the fortress. And he goes on this rant about Superman not being a man, that he is an it. So interesting dialogue there. Then we have Clark. You just saw him briefly there in his home in Smallville with the Kents taking care of him. This is obviously after the battle. But here we see Metamorpho having created kryptonite from turned his hand into kryptonite, I guess, to subdue Superman. And he's getting belted around by these men in suits. We have this great shot of Superman emerging from a dust cloud with the sun streaming through that and giving him a silhouette there. So that's really cool. We get Green Lantern, Hawk Girl, and Mr. Terrific there, the Justice Gang, as they're called in this film. A good shot of them there. And there's this war in Barovia. More of the fight with the engineer. Lex losing his crap and screaming. So lots of kind of different points of view. And now we have Martha. We see Martha for the first time saying that she cleaned his boots and she'll get them for him. And then you obviously have Clark deciding that he needs to get back into action, and flies off there. There's the fight with the kaiju. Now you might see quickly in the background there, if I can just kind of go back to it. That is on the screen there in the background in the fight. I can't seem to stop it at the right spot. Right there in the right hand side, that is Will Reeve, Christopher Reeve's son, on the screen as a reporter. We saw that he was having a cameo in the film, so nice little Easter egg there. Because that's his real job. He is a reporter for the ABC. So Will Reeve, the son of Christopher Reeve, there in the trailer. As we move along, that's the fight with the kaiju, and then we have Green Lantern, Guy Gardner, using his ring power to use a green hand to swat away some of these soldiers. We have Hawk Girl flying through there, and then we have Clark. We'll just go back to that quickly. Clark and Jimmy goofing around in the Daily Planet newsroom. Clark doing a bit of a dance there. I'm not sure what's going on there, what he's listening to. And then we have Eve Tessmacher. I think that's her, taking a selfie while there's some action going on outside, some of the destruction going on, and that is a goofy shot, but that's quite funny. Then we have more of that fight with Superman and Lex. We just get all these snapshots. There was Metamorpho there, and then we've got obviously that scene of Superman being rejuvenated by the yellow sunlight, and then the kiss between Lois and Superman as he rises up into the sky and people are cheering for him, but then he immediately comes crashing back down. So that's an interesting kind of finale there. So there you have it. That's the trailer. A quick analysis, just going through different bits and pieces as I saw them, and giving some quick views on the trailer, which I'm really excited about. It's showing a lot of the things that I wanted to see for this film. Love the music, love the dialogue, love the action, love the personal pieces, seeing the Kents, the relationship between Superman and Lois and Clark and Lois. Really interested to see how that dynamic plays out. But looking forward to the full movie when it is released in July. And we finish off with Lois asking Superman, he has a dog? And then we have that cute scene of Krypto lying on Superman's chest. So there you have it. That is my analysis of the trailer. Hope you enjoyed that. Looking forward to getting your views in the comments below. Don't forget, if you want more content, more Superman content just like this and much, much more, then subscribe to our YouTube channel. Click on the bell so you'll get a notification each time we post a new video. And keep an eye on supermanhomepage.com for all your daily news updates on everything surrounding the Man of Steel. I'm Steve Eunice. See you next time. Bye.
Subscribe to our free Superman homepage newsletter and stay in the loop. Go to supermanhomepage.com/newsletter. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and click on the bell to ensure you don't miss out on any of our new videos.